Becoming Holey. There once was a man who lived in a small house which had one outstanding feature. The lawn was perfect. The lush, weed-free grass was surrounded by neatly edged borders. The time and money he invested weeding, fertilizing, and frequently mowing yielded pristine results that were the envy of the neighborhood. One day, as he left for work, the man noticed a large hole had been dug right in the middle of his perfectly groomed lawn. He couldn't believe his eyes. But with no time to investigate or tend to it before work, he was forced to leave it ruined all day, trying to deal with his anger and allowing the neighbors to think who knows what. Arriving home that evening, he went to his neighbors on each side to ask if they knew who dug the hole. His new neighbor wasn't home, but he noticed some black dirt on the driveway. His neighbor on the other side had been his friend for years. And when he greeted him at the door, he was shocked at the news, but he had no idea who did it. The man went home and fumed as he filled in the hole and reseeded. The next day, he was even more shocked to find 3 more gaping holes. Again, with no time, he hurried off to work in a fury, agonizing over why in the world this was happening to him. This time when he got home, he went straight to the new neighbor. Again, he was not home, but there was even more black dirt on the driveway, and when he peeked in the garage, he could see a dirty shovel. That was it. He headed right over to his friend's house and began angrily ranting about the terrible new neighbor. His friend tried to console him and agreed that this was incredibly unfair. When he asked his friend's advice about what he should do, though, he was very surprised to hear, "Just go home and sleep on it. It'll seem better in the morning." Well, it was late. The man had no energy to refill and reseed the 3 damaged areas, so he tried to settle for a fairly fitful night's sleep. In the morning, he made it a point to get up very early, bracing himself for the sight of any new holes. But it was not the sight of new holes that left him standing in stunned silence. It was a most amazing sight. The 3 holes from yesterday filled with gold. Sure enough, right where there had been 3 ugly holes in his perfect lawn, now there were 3 glittering mounds of beautiful gold coins. He was dumbfounded. Who would have done such a thing? Who would have been willing to give so much? Suddenly, the vandalized lawn didn't seem very important as he happily carted wheelbarrow loads of gold to his garage and excitedly hurried off to work with the most incredible story to tell. Arriving home that evening, he raced over to his new neighbor, only to find the now familiar dirt and glimpse of the shovel with nobody home. He then rushed to his friend on the other side with the amazing report of the gold. His friend laughed and hugged him as he explained, "I know somebody who's very rich and very kind. And when I told him what somebody did to you, he felt terrible for you, and he really wanted to help. So he thought he'd turn your trouble into something good. And what's more, he made you an incredible promise. If anyone ever digs another hole in your lawn, you can count on him filling it with gold." And the question I had to answer was, now how do you think the man felt about the person digging the holes?